just because they're sorry doesn't mean you have to forgive them. And just because you are sorry doesn't mean that they have to forgive you. And this is something that I've been on both ends. In different scenarios, different situations, different relationships. Whether, a person has done wrong by me or whether I've done wrong by another person. I think it is important to, if it's on your end, I mean, again, it depends on what it is, but apologizing doesn't automatically equate to, all is well, all is forgiven, and, everything is going to go back to how it was before. Now, say, the reason why I feel the urge to talk about this is I'm on the one of the spectrum. I have a friend. I have a few. I have, honestly, I have quite some people that I need to apologize to. I've kind of worked on that a bit, but yet there's still some people that I think of that there's like that resistance when I think of them. They're like, oh, like I ought to, but I feel that resistance towards it. Like, say, for the past 3 years, I've been very depressed. I've struggled with mental health, depression, suicidal thoughts all my life, essentially. And also, I do have a very wonderful tendency of when I feel a lot, when my mental health is not great, I isolate myself. And this has fractured a lot of the relationships I've had with my family, with friends, so on and so forth. And even though I would say that, I hope I'm not being blind to myself, but I'd like to believe that I did try to communicate that with people, at least in the beginning. And yet, it's like, it's I understand both sides of this, like having the friend who's like, always going through something. Like, I think, how did I phrase this? I can't fucking talk. It's so fucking hot. I used to be a big people pleaser, big fucking people pleaser. I remember 2019, 20, 21, even 22, even that's when it started to get rough for me. My disposition and my mindset was like, who am I without people? The opinions and perceptions of other people mattered more than how I viewed myself. And so many times almost every single time, I would always prioritize the other person's feelings over mine. And so in 22, since then, I'm very isolated. I don't talk to people. I literally do not talk to people. The only person I talk to is my boyfriend. And one of my friends that I was quite close to some years back, they have tried to reach out to me. They try to invite me to stuff, so on and so forth. And I either haven't really responded, I haven't really communicated that to them. And so a few months back, there was something that I was invited to, and I, at the last minute, I was aware about it for weeks beforehand, but the day before, I talked to them. I was like, hey, I don't think I'll be able to go. I told them I was going through some stuff. I was also in the midst of quitting my job, and also my job evoked immense anxiety from me. Oh my god, so much fucking anxiety. And so I was like, I'm really sorry that I haven't been communicating, but I won't be able to go to this thing, so on and so forth. And they responded to me some weeks afterwards, and they were like, I feel very hurt, not just from this incident alone, but also from like the past, like, say like year and a half or so, where I haven't really been a good friend. I haven't reached out. I haven't made the effort on my part to, see them, talk to them, be with them, so on and so forth. And this was in the midst when I was like quitting my job and just going through some stuff. So I quickly replied to them like, hey, like I'm going through some stuff, but like when I'm in a better mental space, I'd like to give you a formal like reply, an apology, and explain to you what's going on. It's been like 4 months, and I think about it every single day. I think about that person every single day, and yet, despite that, I put that. I'm just floating around. I keep putting into the back, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but because it's something I've pushed back for so long. What is going on here? What? What the? Okay, well, God, I don't know how to play this game anymore. But I think about it every day, and yet I keep pushing it back. And this was somebody who, like, some of my relationships with my friends, I'm able to say, like, oh, like, well, it's also more like on both sides. But this was somebody who deserved more communication on my end. But also, it's not like I was doing this to this person alone. I haven't reached out to anybody. And people, my family, my closest friends that I had, and it's not that my feelings changed towards them, it's just I just isolate myself. Isolation is something I'm very familiar with and very accustomed to. I did it when I was a teenager. I was isolated for like 6-7 years. I only interacted with my mom and my brother. And then I re-entered society, went to college, had a few years where I was a social fucking butterfly. I I yearned for experiences, I yearned for those things, and then, I lost myself. I lost my identity, I lost everything that I thought I was becoming, so on and so forth, and I just cooped myself in my little home. I see. Let's try walking for a bit. I do like walking around here. It's so pretty. And yet, something that I always keep in mind is, I know, like, maybe this will prompt me to start to like write this out, but my intention with apologizing to this person is not with the intention, it's not with the goal of, we're gonna rekindle what we used to have before, and everything's gonna be all great. That's not really the case. And people have a right to be hurt by your actions, whether or not you intended them or not. That's just the humanity, and that's just how it is. We all have our reasons for doing what we do. Is there music? Ooh, let me see. Jukebox. Players? Okay. People do have the right to feel however they choose to feel, whether or not you agree or disagree with them. And that's just it. We're all entitled to how we choose to feel. I'm like repeating myself again. But it's okay. Now, I will say, in terms of whether or not, if in the situation where someone has like done a wrong to you, that's also within your right. You have the capacity to choose. You are within your every right to decide whether or not you want to forgive them. And there's notions of like being the bigger person, so on and so forth. Those are all good and all, but you don't have to be the bigger person. Oh, raccoons! Oh my! Ooh! 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 Why are their eyes like that? Ooh! So cute. But anyway, what was I saying? Sorry. I haven't seen raccoons before. On things. So I was like, whoa. To be honest, the people that have hurt me the most in my life, I wouldn't say all of them. When I get blinded by my hurt and my bitterness, I tend to like group people and like all of everyone as the same. But there are people who have done wrong to me that have hurt me a lot and either haven't apologized or I think when I think of that, it makes me think like, why should I apologize then? Nobody's ever really apologized for what they've done to me, so why should I? Like, yeah, I kind of get that. It's not great, but I'm a hypocrite because I say these things, and yet it's been there's mainly two people I think of that I feel that very veritable urge to reach out and apologize to them. And I don't expect an apology. I don't know, maybe part of me is, but like I hope that's not my intention going in. Like, oh, they're gonna forgive me, and blah 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 blah. Like, no, like they can choose whatever they want. If they choose to never answer me and they're like, fuck her, that's completely on them, and I get it. My biggest thing is that I just don't reach out. I'm not a good friend. I'm very comfortable being alone. I used to be a big people person. I love. It's not that I don't love the friends that I've made, the relationships that I've had with people. It's just I don't feel it within me anymore. And I've spent so much time mourning who I used to be and wondering, why am I like this? I don't really understand now. And if it was on the flip side, like if I had a friend who was like me, I probably would react the same too. I probably wouldn't reach out or blah 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 too. I get it. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Oh, they're conglomerating. They're talking. But let's perch over here. Sorry, I'm just kind of wandering. I'm just floating. I guess that's okay, maybe. And in my head, sometimes I bring up excuses like, oh, well, they haven't really reached out to me. They haven't really been a good friend to me, so on and so forth. Like, they haven't done this and X, Y, and Z. So it depends on the relationship. But With those two people that I mentioned, they, in some instances, they weren't, especially when I like really needed somebody. Nobody was really there for me. And also, but also it's a amalgamation of both. I like people weren't really there for me, but also when there were, I did push people away. And that's the truth that I need to accept in my life is, for me personally, I have been, these past 3 so years, I have been so consumed by my hurt, by my grief, by why the fuck am I like this? I've isolated myself initially in the hopes of like, okay, like I just need some time alone to figure myself out. And, you know, once I do, then I'll be back to normal. Once I do, then I need to go back to who I was before. I need to figure myself out. Because for me, like, that's it's how I function better, and also it's where I feel the most me, being by myself. Hang on, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I gotta pee. Okay, I'm back. Oh, this is so pretty. Let me go over here. I like this spot. What was I saying before? I function better when I'm alone. But yeah, like I haven't hurt people and like, well, I cheated or I backstabbed or I betrayed somebody or anything like that, and yet I still think I'm the most abhorrent person in the world. Like everything I've done or what I could have done is just the most abhorrent and thing I could do. Like I'm the most horrible person, and my wrongs are just so pervasive. And to an extent they are. To an extent they're not. I could have done worse to people. Isolating and shutting yourself away from the world is, it's one thing. But still, people have a right to be hurt. People have a right to be heard with the fact that, like, you were, like, they cared about me, they liked me as a friend, and, in spite of perhaps, like, the depth of the friendship, even still, people have a right to be hurt. People have a right to feel however they choose to feel. And it may not be the most blasphemous thing in the world, and yet still hurt is hurt. Yeah. Something I realize and something I want to convey to them is like, what I've realized of myself is that these past 3 years or so, I've encased myself in my thoughts, in what happened to me, what's wrong with me, or what people did to me, all the above. And the thing is that the world has hurt me, and yet I've also hurt the world. And even though it was not with the intention, nonetheless, I still did. And what I realized is that I've been so focused on the hurt that I was given, and I've grouped everyone the same. I've grouped my family, my friends, my relationship as like, oh, everyone has hurt me. And thus I've hurt people who haven't. And it's really salient to think that, oh, like, perhaps they now harbor these hurts and these fears and the distrust because I've hurt them, even though it was never intentional. That's how it goes, though, doesn't it? Oh, Lord. I do have to apologize to this person, and yet, once again, it's not with the intention of being forgiven. Forgiveness is not an obligation. It is a privilege that the person decides of their own volition whether or not to choose to do. They have the right to accept, they have the right to forgive, and they also have the right to decide not to. And that's completely onto them. And it's also the same vice versa. Just because someone comes to you and apologizes for what they've done to you doesn't mean that you are obligated to be the bigger person. There's, notions of, moral high ground, so on and so forth, and yet we're all human, and I think it's okay to feel however we feel. So, I'm just, move to a different spot. But no. Okay, let me move actually. Why not? Yeah. I think that's all for today. Take care of yourselves. Decompress, de-stress. I hope we'll be okay in the end. But this will be all.